Her background is from Albania, and her sister is Ionica. She is Blerina Dima. Please welcome her to the stage.
Okay, I did it. Hey, everyone. How are we? How are we? All right. You know what? The slot before lunch and after lunch is the worst for a keynote. Before, because you're hungry. And after lunch, 60% of you are going to fall asleep. Let's not fall asleep. Let's stand up. Stand up. Let's stand up. Let's join. Nasa do olu se pano. Andiamo. Facciamo. Okay, those were my 4 languages. One more in French. I don't know how we say stand up. Who speaks French? Stand up in French? Awesome. I love it. Okay, a bit of an energizer. Stay standing if you had 1 cup of coffee today. Stay standing. I love it. We're starting with 1. Okay. Stay standing if you had 2 cups of coffee today. If you've only had 1, sit down, please. All right, okay. So 2 cups, we stay. Stay standing if you've had 3 cups of coffee today. The rest of you can sit. Okay, all right. Stay standing if you've had 4 cups of coffee today. The rest of you can sit. Stay standing if you've had 5 cups of coffee today. The rest of you can sit. Oh my God. What? Stay standing if you've had 6 cups of coffee today. The rest of you can sit. You've had 6 cups today? Yes. You have? Say it again. Oh my God, you've had 10 cups of coffee today. Is it an IV drip? Okay, round of applause. What's your name? Gertie. Okay, that is amazing. That is amazing. Why do I say that? Because A, we are Albanian, we love coffee. And number 2, coffee is the great energizer, I'm hoping, just like AI is, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. My name is Blerina Sanocki. I'm going to do a lot of pacing for a couple of reasons. Number 1, my Apple Watch only shows 2,000 steps, and that is really low. I have not exercised today. So there will be a lot of walking up and down. Keep the energy going. Find me here, find me there. Also, I heard earlier, this group is not as fun as this group. We can't have that. Are you more fun than this group or less fun? Can I hear it? Okay, all right, okay, we shall see. So, a lot of pacing. I need the steps. I want to keep you energized. And I want to talk about AI today, which is equally energizing. Without further ado, Blerina Sanocki. I'm the founder and CEO of TideBorn Capital. The reason for TideBorn Capital is because I was born in Saranda, Ionian Sea, and I love the water, I love tides, and I want to talk to you about tides and currents and harbors today. Before that, I spent 14 years at Google. I am not the first Albanian hire at Google. That is Ionica Dima Holmes, my sister. I'm the second Albanian hire at Google. So I spent 14 years there. I built strategic partnerships with global brands, Apple, Microsoft, LinkedIn, Mars, Kimberly-Clark, and many more. I am super proud to have closed $2.5 billion in global partnerships and ventures. I had a moment where I asked myself, this is in April, you can stay and you can close another 2.5 others, but that sounded a little boring. What I wanted to do instead is be at the heart of Silicon Valley, which is where I literally am, but also at the heart of Silicon Valley when it comes to founders, innovation, and that is AI. It's what I do today with TideBorn Capital. I went on my own. I am an entrepreneur. I am a founder. I am a funder. So hopefully a lot like you today. I look at daily deal flow. I average about 100 startups a week that fall on my desk. And as a result, I can see what gets funded and what fails in Silicon Valley. And I want to talk about that today a little bit, not because we're trying to turn Albania in Silicon Valley. I'm paying attention to my fellow keynote speakers, but because I want to talk to you about that edge. And lastly, because I'm hoping that today we can bridge those bridges? Do we bridge them? I want to talk about bridges between Silicon Valley and emerging markets. And the way to do that next slide, please, thank you, is via the TideBorn framework. One more slide, please, it builds, thank you. So I want to talk about tides, I want to talk about currents, and I want to talk about those harbors. The tides are the global forces that are shifting capital, are shifting tech. The currents is the translation of those global forces as I see them, and then finally harbors is how that strategy plays out at a local level. So with that, the first tide and what it means. AI is that big cognitive industrial revolution. I was reading somewhere that we are one of the very few generations that has been through so many revolutions and through so many changes. So think about it. We are the generation that has lived through the revolution that is the internet. We are the generation that has lived through the revolution that is the smartphone, which brought internet at our fingertips. Shout out to Apple, my partner, that made that happen via iPhone. We are also the generation that is living through this AI shift. So this industrial revolution of a third kind, and this is very, very rare for a generation to go through all of these things at once. We're not going to talk about COVID because we also survived an epidemic, and that is super, super cool. So round of applause to us for being that generation. Let me hear it. Okay. So what is really the second tide from there? We talked about the first one, supercharging that human connection, and I'm going to bore you with some stats here. But the second tide is what we are calling that purpose-built AI. It is AI that really understands your industry. It's not about just software anymore. It is about hardware, and it is about transforming some really big industries, which is what AI is set to do. Industries like robotics, energy, defense, manufacturing, healthcare, every single one of these industries with the power of AI stands to be transformed. You can see some mind-blowing stats behind me. The really big one that, I am one slide behind. I'm so sorry, you guys. Let's go back to the second tide. Okay, perfect. So the power surge that you see here is what it requires to really power this AI revolution, and you will see the tremendous energy that takes. All of this speaks to the power of that industrial revolution that I was talking to you about. So really an opportunity to lean in and take advantage of that moment. The third tide, which I would love to see on my screen as well, is going from that one-size-fits-all, which are some of these AI agents that we are looking at today. So Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, this is that one-size-fits-all approach. And then the second ones that are really, really interesting and are transforming businesses in Silicon Valley and far beyond in the United States are those verticalized AI agents. They go deep in one particular industry, and startups are building at that intersection. So think Gemini, but really deep, all for healthcare. Claude, also super deep, but just for legal. And when I did a little bit of a search and I was trying to understand, with the power of AI, how many agents currently exist globally, that number is mind-blowing. There are 3,000 distinct AI tools that are currently available in the US. They translate equally across Europe, that are there to serve the small, mid-size market, SMB and mid-size market. So with that, we talked about the tides. What does it mean about currents and how they are shaping our own coastlines? The first current that we see is what we are calling atoms and bits advantage. It is about a current that is made in Albania and it is enhanced by AI. It is about the structural arbitrage that Albania has. It is our location, the power of our people, and the really tech-savvy entrepreneurial background that we have. We have about a 2 to 3 hour overlap with EU markets, and it is the, again, structural arbitrage that allows Albanian teams to co-build and cooperate with European companies and European markets, and I am really excited about it. Current number 2, agent-powered businesses. This is also equally exciting. As I mentioned before, when I was at Google, I worked for global companies. and L'Oreal was one of them. The reason why I bring them up is because they are doing something really, really cool. They are able, at the speed of culture that they are calling this trend, to analyze over 3,500 online sources and to make decisions extremely fast. Now, I know that 6 to 18 months doesn't sound like it is that fast, but for a global company like L'Oreal, CPG, in the beauty industry, making those predictions and those trends that early is extremely dynamic and extremely fast. And this is all powered by AI, by the power of agents. Again, they are predicting beauty trends at the speed of culture, and they are creating an opportunity for really small teams to make decisions fast and effectively. The third current is enterprise AI transformation, and I am equally excited about this one. I'm excited about everything, you can tell. I actually have not had 10 cups of coffee. I have had 4. I think I want to get to 10 by the end of the night. So at the third current, I am excited about the EU establishing a level of trust with AI. And we're going to take a quick departure here and tell you about a personal story that I have. My kids love pizza. I'm a tired mother at the end of the day, so there are times that I serve them pizza for dinner. I call my local pizza company, and I was really excited that AI picked up. This is the first time that this local mom and pop shop had AI answering the phone. I was also excited because usually when I call, the guy that works there likes to talk to me for a long time, so I was happy to talk to AI. I talk to AI, she asks me what I want, I tell her what I want, it was a she. She takes my order and she says, okay, so you want pizza with pepperoni and black olives on half of your pizza, and then the other half of the pizza is cheese. It was a complicated order. My children are weird. They do not agree on what kind of pizza they want. So I was happy. It sends it to my phone. I said yes. The pizza was there within 20 minutes. Fast forward 2 days later, I called the pizza place again. The same AI friend answers, and she said, hi, Blerina, actually. She said Blerina, because that's what they call me in the United States, and this was AI, and still hasn't figured out how to call me. So she says, hey, Blerina, I saw that you ordered a pizza 2 days ago. I said, yes. She says, would you like to repeat your order? I said, yes, I have very hungry children. So the pizza gets delivered. I got excited. I opened the box. The kids are waiting. It was a Hawaiian pizza. It was not at all my order. Alexander, what's in Hawaiian pizza, sir? Pineapple. Who likes pineapple in their pizza? Nobody likes pineapple in their pizza. No Albanians like pineapple in their pizza. My children are Albanian children. They were very frustrated. This is a case of AI letting me down. So, AI broke my trust, which is the reason why I am really excited about the European AI Act. Once it makes it to the United States, I am hoping my pizza will be delivered perfectly. No pineapple on it, no Hawaiian pizza. So, we talked about tides, we talked about currents. I want to bring it home to the harbors. What are the harbors that are sea as it pertains to Albania, which is where that momentum, which is anchored to strategy and execution, really matters. Let's progress my slides on the TV as well, please, if that is okay. So the first one that I see is a really simple formula. It is about that agent adoption accelerator, and it really all boils down to 3 simple steps. Now, do these look familiar? They do look familiar because my predecessors, the keynotes earlier, they talked about these. They talked about starting small. Yonika talked about that. They talked about learning fast, doing those 30-day pilots. A lot of my keynotes talked to you about these, and I love when our keynotes build on each other because we are all telling you the same message, which is also really exciting, and scaling what works. So, with that, this is how we can enable secure access to those agents. We can build a national agent power network that builds on all of this strategy for innovation, and I'm hoping that it is relatively easy and simple to follow. Harbor number 2, founder mode enablement. Silicon Valley loves founder mode enablement, mostly because there are so many successful companies that are still, Yonika talked about trillion-dollar companies that are still kind of building and creating and evolving with that founder DNA. What does it mean? There is a bias to action, there is a customer obsession, flat structure, and a lot of innovation in all of that. The reason why I talk about that founder DNA is I see that founder DNA in the businesses in Albania. Mostly They are founder-led, they are agile, very entrepreneurial, and again, it is what Silicon Valley loves that I see translated so easily over here. Definitely let's take advantage of that. And then finally, the third harbor is allowing for Albania, Tirana, our region, being that physical digital bridge with the rest of EU. Local pilots that turn into European Union proof points that allow for Albania to be the test bed for Europe. This is Kent Walker, President of Global Affairs for Google. He just published this saying just a couple of days ago, but he talks about nations that deploy at scale AI being the nations that come out on top. I am so looking forward for our nation to be the nation that comes out on top across these three harbors. I am really excited to be here with you all today. I am Blerina Sanocki, TideBorn Capital. Find me on LinkedIn.